Okay, I think we have our first matchup here. I'm excited. This is Kyle Kurz versus Casey Ronan. Casey is on, I believe, mono green ramp, and Kyle is on it's blue red creativity, but there are technically two green cards in it. So Temur combo is a reasonable. Oh, snake eyes.
Do you think our production helper is getting us here and saying Nykthos ramp when it's actually like mono white devotion or something?
Well, that's what I'm curious. So like there are some people I've seen play mono black Nykthos, and I'm just like, is this they're all the same? And our production manager is just like making that meme, or I mean I would put money that it is definitely the mono green Nykthos ramp when I see this. Thank you. Fantastic. So I'm curious about, so I know, well, I have talked to Kyle about his deck list, and he keeps changing things, but I'm curious if this mono green deck looks pretty stock to us. There's like not a ton of innovation room. I'm looking for the multicolored planeswalkers.
There's some temple gardens in here, so I think there would probably be white cards to cast on the sideboard, or they're just a cast to fairy.
I think it tends to be that they Karn for a portable hole, and then portable hole your stuff is the main.
They're one portable hole.
Yeah, and then there's also normally like the casket, so like for 3 drops. I don't know if they're running one of those either, but those tend to be like, again, just powerful ways to interact with your opponent to keep going. I'm curious if putting 4 temple gardens in your deck loses you some edges against some of these aggressive strategies though too. But so it's
a little interesting because you would lose points that you take damage, but your Karn can also go get a removal spell for Thalia or a big lieutenant or something. It's interesting. I think we're watching Casey figure out use mulligan one time and just trying to find a hand he likes here.
I think mono green is a deck that actually, in my mind, can mulligan pretty well.
I definitely agree with that. Just need to hit like the mana to be able to cast one payoff, draw one payoff, and then you just start rolling.
Oh no, he's gone to 5. Yeah, I think that like one of the things I found with the mono green deck that is rebuilds surprisingly quickly. It's not even the like get to 6 and use your what is this card called? The big Coco.
Storm the
Festival, yeah. But the turns where you go like turn 1 elf, turn 2 Kiora, turn 3 old growth troll, draw a card, like the Kiora drawing multiple cards just really gets you back in these games, right?
Absolutely.
And it makes such good use of Kiora as a seemingly innocuous card, and it is you just draw a ton of cards.
Yeah.
All right, seems like we have a 5 we're happy with or content with.
Agreed. While Casey's making that decision, what you mentioned that Kyle's deck is blue red, but putting in green cards. What's going on?
Yeah, great point. So Kyle is playing the blue red creativity deck. So the idea is that you tend to kind of just chill out, interact a little bit with your opponent until turn 4. Again, with normal blue red interactive spells, maybe some cantrips. And then you get to turn 4 and you cast either a big score or an unexpected windfall, get 2 treasures. And then on turn 5 for X = 2, you cast creativity, indomitable creativity. And you put in 2 random creatures from your deck, which there are only 2. They tend to be Worldspine Worm and Xenagos, the God of Revels, right?
That's correct. Yep.
And then you make a 30/30 trampling attacker that if for some reason that they live, you just have a bunch of worms chilling. Like you can do some dumb stuff to them, right? And I think that this deck, it's just like your opponents get to the spot where like they can never tap out, and especially in a mono green matchup, like they just have to tap out. Like what can mono green do to stop it? I guess like in my mind, the only thing is like the Karns would interact with the treasures. Are there any like Karn tutor targets that we think would just like house this in some way? Transmogrifying wand, maybe, but then you just got a bunch of 5/5s, right? Does it exile or does it destroy?
I believe it destroys.
Yeah.
I
think it does too.
And no, it's the card for Arclight Phoenix, so it exiles.
Ooh, that's probably the get then, but that's like a lot.
And then the other one would be like statue, so that creativity costs 7 mana to do your combo. Maybe.
Fair. I mean, Karn slowing down that treasures can actually make mana is good. Like again, there's Fable. There's I will say that they have. I know Kyle's been really pretty high on Prismari Command, as I see one there in his hand. And that's I mean that's a really powerful card against any of these interactive things we think are the primary ways. One other thing I really like. It says destroy target creature. I just looked up the font. It says destroy target creature, but they do get an Ox. Boxes are thick, so. I think that one of the things I really like about Kyle's version of this that he's been playing around with, he saw on some lists online, is that he's got, I think probably I can see an Anger of the Gods in his hand there. He's got, I think the full 4 in the 75. Oh, the Spell Pierce. Spell Pierce is just doing good work.
Yeah.
Getting to double spell on his opponent's turn. Taking a little bit of pain from these pain lands, but Prismari Command just does so much, right? Definitely you do get into some spots where you feel desperate. I think more so against like red-black matchups where they've thrown up your hand, where you got to do the old coin flip and you just creativity for 1 and just hope it's the worm and not a Xenagos. Or there's a lot of times that like if you can like blow up one of the treasures in response, you still get that coin flip, right? Because if the X is equals 2, I've actually seen a bunch of times in playtesting with Kyle, you just target 3 treasures and say X equals 3, even though you have 2 creatures, because then they can't really interact with you on the stack, right? They can't they have to counter the spell. They can't blow up a treasure with their removal. But I mean, this is another deck that takes really good use of Fable, right? Fable Mirror Breaker is just so powerful. Lots of tokens, lots of targets for creativity, and then also just finding you the key card that you need. Yeah, it seems like, so this deck has so much, it has 4 cards that matter, right? It has 4 magic cards of endowment creativity. Yeah, you can do like Shark Typhoon or something a little bit, but like you need a creativity to win the game, right? And it has so much ability to look for that. I think there's 4 Valakut Awakenings in this deck, right? Again, when you draw that Xenagos, you just need to put it back, right? There's Fire Prophecy that lets you put back the cards you draw that you don't want to draw. The Worm, the reason the Worm's even better than like the Emrakul and things like that, you see a Fire Prophecy right here, putting back a card. The reason the Worm's really good is you can just rummage away with Prismari Command or Fable, and it just still goes back in the deck too, right? Appreciating the follows. Not sure if we can get that to stay off of our screen. It's a little distracting. When I had looked at Casey's hand, when the Spell Pierce play happened, there were still 2 more Karns. So the more I'm thinking of it, like Karn. So the problem is he's only got 2 lands. Is that 2 havens? Or no, is this? I can't see the land behind this forest. Is that? I believe that's a Wolfwall Haven. I know this one's a Wolfwall Haven. Is the one behind that also Temple Garden? There you go. Yeah. Okay. Oh no, I think it's a pathway because it looks real white. That wouldn't make sense to put a pathway out there already this early. Anyway, Temple Garden makes sense. So 5 mana. I mean, that's like one of the crucial amounts, but Karn just like getting tutor targets for 1, like Play the Needle's not going to do anything. Portable Holes. I mean, he could proactively Portable Hole treasure. Yeah, I think could also get a Darksteel Citadel. I like that, right? To just try and progress, get more mana. I would love to see him get a Darksteel Citadel here to just like keep getting these lands into play. Don't tell me there's another Spell Pierce. Ooh, we're gonna dig for one though. We're gonna have some sort of big score, I think. I like it. Yep. I don't know which one this one is, but it is discard a card to draw 2 and make 2 treasures. And this card is fantastic. Like it seems real clunky, especially against the aggro decks where you have to wait until turn 4 to do nothing. Turn 5, maybe then hopefully kill them, right? So you like have to interact on the first 3 turns. That's where the angers become really, really good. But yeah, it definitely has some hope here. All right, let's Karn's in there. So we got 3 treasures, and they are not able to be activated. They are just I don't think they need to get activated. I think they're just I don't think so. Targets to get turned into monsters. Oh, I think I saw creativity in his hand too off that draw. Yeah, I think that I don't think there's anything, right? Yeah. There's Portable Hole, the thing doesn't do it. Even if there was a Graph Digger's Cage in the sideboard, that doesn't apply, right? Because
creativity puts them into exile before putting them into play.
I believe you're correct. Yeah. I mean, and theoretically, if he has a land, he can just target the cage, right? So it's one of the weird things we see about creativity in modern is that like, hey man, you got permanent that's in the way. I'm like, yeah, you got the Citadel. I like that. Just trying to progress, get mana back. I think we might see it right here. I'm so excited. Think through his lines, make sure he doesn't have anything. What could he have for 2 mana? This deck's entirely sorcery speed.
Yeah, I really, not only is it cards available in this specific deck list, but I'm not sure that there's any card that he would put in his deck that would help him in this situation.
What actually, I think we're wrong.
Okay.
So he does have 1 Boseiju in his deck.
Okay.
Right? It seems incredibly unlikely to not play your Boseiju as a land, as you've been missing land drops, right? So going for it here could cause it to be a coin flip if he has a Boseiju, right?
Got it. Okay.
So I do like that pausing and thinking about that. There's just no way your opponent has a Boseiju when they've missed land drops and Karn for a land, right?
I would agree. Yeah.
This opponent seems, Casey doesn't seem super happy about this. Seems like it's resolving. All right. Well, Casey is for sure dead here, but let's do the slow build up to look at the deck.
Yeah. Look at Kyle's whole deck.
Some pretty fables. Kyle always has good card selection too. It's always pretty, right? He tends to be a person that prefers the Japanese foils in modern. So I never really remember which ones are which, but
you trust him when he says this one's a lightning bolt or a...
No, never. I always clarify. I look up the collector number. There's 1. That one's big.
Finally.
There's 2. Uh-oh. That seems like 30 damage coming on over. I would recommend he doesn't attack Karn. It's so weird to me that creativity shuffles the whole deck after it revealed randomly off the top.
Yeah.
You then shuffle the whole deck. And it just feels... Yep.
Need to read it?
I would. Yeah, absolutely. Fun fact, Kyle, as a Magic player, when he first started playing Magic heavily, had a love affair with the original Xenagos, the Reveler.
When he gets a spark.
I've seen him in a tournament. He was so excited to alt his Xenagos, and our other friend Tim played a Dragonlord Silumgar and stole it and alted it, and just the saddest of times.
That's so great. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh. So a couple things stood out to me about that game. The first was the impact of main deck Spell Pierce.
Spell Pierce is so good right now. I mean, you see it both in Modern and in Pioneer. Just 1 mana countering 4 drops is nuts, right? Yeah. Spell Pierce is really fantastic, and I really like it. It's so weird that it's either fantastic or garbage against this matchup, right?
Yeah.
Where like either they have 15 mana and they ignore it, but at that point you're probably in trouble anyway, right? But like the early turns, if you can counter Kira or Karn, that's just so impactful.
Yep.
Or even the
storm.
The storm, yeah.
Costs 6 whole mana. The first one usually can get spell pierced.
Let's see if we can pull up and think about how they're going to sideboard.
Yeah.
So I mean, mono green first, right? This deck, does it ever sideboard? I guess they have like maybe a Sky Sovereign to bring in or something.
Yeah. So definitely looks like Casey can bring in a Sky Sovereign in the matchups where that's good. Another thing that I know some mono green players have been doing is just, and I think this mainly comes up against like red black, but like in red black, when the game's going to go longer, I don't want to be drawing maybe a lot of copies of Elvish Mystic or Llanowar Elves, and so I'll just board in a Reckoner Bankbuster for my sideboard or all of my Sky Sovereigns, so that I just have more
maybe
hits
like
off the top of my deck. Exactly.
Yeah, I like that. That makes sense.
Yeah, but other than that, no.
So one card I find is interesting in Kyle's sideboard is Red Cat Melee, because so you don't have to target a red permanent. Correct. It does 4 damage. Can also target Planeswalkers. Which seems for 1 mana, I mean, being able to kill Karn. Yeah, the Karn went off, but like, I don't know. Do you feel like Red Cat Melee is good enough as an interactive spell? You can kill an elf, right? Your life total doesn't really matter, like as much as that like is another Fiery Impulse for an elf, right?
Yes, I think that would be the only way that I'm bringing it in. But it's also really tough to red cap melee their elf and then lose a land and
Is this the one lose a land?
right? Is that
Oh yeah, you're right. For
Yeah.
some reason I thought this dealt damage to you. All right, I don't like
Ah.
this card anymore.
but
I don't like this
I
card at all.
definitely like the disdainful strokes.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Anger's so weird, right?
Mhm.
So he has a lot of other damage dealing spells that they could double up one, like a troll or things like that. I like anger. Like again, I play a lot of like these like 3 mana sweeper or 3 damage sweepers in Pioneer in my decks, and it's not nuts, but it has draws from the green deck that it is nuts against, right? And anger being able to exile a troll with like a 1 mana removal spell is good. Yeah. One of the things I really like from the sideboard is the like transformational side, right? Where they could lean into Hullbreaker Horror, right? Or Stormtide Leviathan or things like that. Like I don't think you do in this matchup. I think just worming them, just 30 is the way to go. Yeah, I think that I don't even know. Does he just bring in the strokes? Maybe the angers? Maybe it's melee.
And maybe we talked about how impactful Spell Pierce was. Negate is a Spell Pierce that is just always live.
That's true.
So.
Yeah, Negate's probably better. Yeah. Because you don't care a ton about the creatures. I mean, like, yeah, they're generating mana, but like I'm always more worried about the planeswalkers just chilling out. Right?
Yes. Yeah.
And what do you think you're cutting in this matchup from Kyle's side? Like, do we like the 1 mana removal because you got to kill elves, right?
Yep.
We like Fire Prophecy for the same reason, even though it's a little bit slow on the draw.
Yep.
You got to kill elves, you got to put stuff back.
Yep, exactly. You need some number of cards split back. This is why I don't play decks like this, John.
I think that like my instinct is that out of these cards, like Fable is such a powerful card, but it's never really great in this matchup because the treasures don't turn on. It's just loot.
That makes sense.
But like they don't kill the tokens. Maybe it's fine. Like you're never really attacking with it, right? I think, and like also with the creature deck, you need two things. So the, I guess so. Like you would have to wait until it flips to the backside to be able to do your creativity with it. Normally,
we're also bringing in cards that make us want to hold up our mana.
Yeah,
and so cutting.
Yeah, for sure. I think trimming some fables could be good. Ops are always just kind of fine, right? Like you can always hedge on those if you feel like your early turn, especially on the draw, your early turns have to be interacting. I think I see in Kyle's hand the Xenagos. It just likes to hang out, but we got a Fire Prophecy to put it back, so we just need a target. I would not be surprised to see Olgirth troll, and I will target it for 3 damage from Kyle's side.
And I think in the first game, Kyle was on a play and probably helped Spell Pierce be impactful.
Yeah, some modifiers there too, right?
True. Also, yes, for sure. But I think we're seeing Kyle in a much different spot this game on the draw.
Yeah.
When Casey has this is 4 mana on turn 3, 5 mana with a Wolfwell Haven. And
how wild is it that you feel like under so much pressure that your opponent has this much mana? Did he just attack for 2 or for 1? Oh, this hand is
I think that
prime to get some Spell Pierced on then. Oh no!
Yeah, that's
the Fire Prophecy.
I was going.
Yeah, has such a good target. Oh, he showed the second. He showed it. Oh, I love it. I love it so much.
Thanks, Kyle.
Yep.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, but
Fire Prophecy is too strong.
I was just talking about how it looks like Casey's going to have a big mana advantage. We're going to go into the next turn, have even more mana, and
we thought that Fire Prophecy was going to rot, not have a target, and I don't think that could have possibly gone better for Kyle.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I don't know that I attack.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think that you're
just
you're not going to win the game for 2 mana.
Yep.
Right. Or for 2 damage. Like, and my opponent has 2 mana up in his blue-red deck. Like, he's got a million things that'll kill my guy. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, I love it. The 1-for-1. Get that off there. Now we're down to 3 mana. So the mana advantage is immediately gone from these like very hard to interact with cards we found spots to.
And that's we were talking about the strength of green. I mean, that's why it's so strong, is because you're just spending more mana than pretty much all of your opponents on every one of your turns.
Oh no, do we not have a land here? I don't think we do. I see 2 Karns and a Storm the Festivals. Yeah, we really need those mana sources. It seems like how it's just gonna buy Kyle so much time. Yeah, Cavalier, Storm, 2 Karns. So that means next turn we can at least play a Cavalier to try and get something going, right? Draw a card.
Maybe find a Nykthos.
It's just gonna be pretty. So I see a Creativity in Kyle's hand. I see a Valakut Awakening too, which is it's so cool that this deck gets to play a lot of lands kind of accidentally, right? Because like you need to get to 5 mana,
right? So with 22 lands plus the 4 flip cards, we actually have 26.
That seems really high for Pioneer, right? And you have so many Rummagers, you have so much other stuff. So it likes to keep the Valakut Awakening rather than play as a land. Is that right?
Unless we're still thinking in Kyle's turn.
No, his opponent's untapped.
All right.
Does Kyle maybe? I don't know that thought. Oh, this elf's gonna get murdered. It's gonna be. We got what's the choice here? Maybe he's wanting to use the Valakut Awakening. I feel like I just play as a land. I guess he has 2 creativity, so he's looking for one of the cards that like the big scorers. Oh, I thought this was a spell here. So I was like, oh man. I think I'm gonna just play that Valakut Awakening. I know that like your hand's kind of awkward with 2 creativities, but
I think there's also another Fire Prophecy in Kyle's hand, so it's not like we're even that worried about being able to put a combo piece to the bottom.
Yeah, I mean, this elf's gonna.
And we know that Xenagos, God of Revels, is on the bottom of our library.
That is true. One of the really interesting things is you could also then just creativity for 1 and just put a worm into play for surezies, right? Like,
true.
So like, we need a way to make some treasures here. So I'm feeling pretty good from Casey's side though right now because we got a Karn in play, we got our Kira in play. Yeah, we don't have lands, but
neither does our opponent.
Yeah, but like we get to. What are we getting with this Karn? I'm getting a land, right? Like you just need a land drop.
Yep.
You just get this Dark Steel. The Dark Steel Citadel is real good. Yep.
I have a Treasure Vault in my mono green deck, and what do you think? Do you think there's any? Do you think that artifact land is more valuable having indestructible or an activated ability that makes lots of treasures?
As a person that has Culligan's Command and Magic decks, I would prefer to see a Treasure Vault because if my opponent is going for a Treasure Vault, that means they're light on mana, and if I have the ability to destroy a land with my spell, I'm excited about that. I do think that. He's shocked here. Wait, did he draw the worm? Oh no. Okay, well, we got a big square though. We got unexpected potential, so we can put back the worm, hopefully draw our last land, and then have the creativity to just get off. I think as long as Casey doesn't just do it this turn, it seems he could for sure do it this turn, right? With Cavalier hitting a
Nykthos.
Well, I guess so. 1, 2, 3. He has enough to storm, right? So you just storm instead of Cavalier, right?
True.
Oh, did he draw? Oh, he's looking for a Nykthos. He's gonna look for a Nykthos and Cavalier.
Yeah, and you could also. If you figure out that the math is right, that after you Cavalier, if you hit a Nykthos, you can storm anyway, then it might be right to Cavalier first because your storm could just like hit 2 dorks.
Yeah, you should have the mana to activate Nykthos off your Cavalier, right?
True.
Because I think if you went first and you drew a land off the Kira trigger, you can because Kira is needed to activate.
Got it. To cast the card.
Yeah, so like I think if you just cast Cavalier, draw a land off the keyword draw trigger, then you can hit a Nykthos off the thing, and still have 1 mana floating, 1 mana remaining because you didn't cast Storm. Then activate Nykthos for 5 is still short though, so it's not enough. You just play something off Karn, right? No, it wouldn't be enough to play a 6. I actually feel like I would have just like spin the wheel and storm there, but. I guess he's just really feeling like he needs to find lands. Well, he's also probably really worried that his opponent has a counter here, right? He doesn't see Kyle's hand. He doesn't see that his entire turn is going to be unexpected potential. Unexpected potential. Is that what that card's called?
Windfall?
That one. What an unexpected name. No.
Yeah.
He drew a Temple Garden, so he did find a land off that.
5 mana.
Yeah, he really just doesn't think this is going to resolve, which is why he's playing it this way, which I like then, right? You don't want to just jam your Storm, which is your more valuable card, into the deck you believe that has Disdainful Strokes, Spell Pierces. They shouldn't. He didn't have a last turn, right?
Right.
But getting some triggers. What does this Karn do in this turn? One thing that's super important is that Kyle just has to, on end step, the potential. For some reason, he does it in the middle. Karn can blow up a treasure, and that's just devastation, right? So he has to do it later in the turn.
Mm-hmm. You see Karn get activated, so
we're safe.
Yep.
One thing that's quite interesting. We didn't even find a Nykthos, right? We just found another normal land. It shuffles in.
Got it.
The thing that's always so scary with this is because now you have 2 cards that will just kill you if you draw them, right? And he's got 3 draw steps.
Right.
So you can just get got, right? You can just get got.
Oh man, give it a nice good shuffle.
Yeah. What I think is so interesting is that like the life totals are so irrelevant in this matchup, right? It is very much just about, does my combo work? Does your combo work?
Right. Yeah. And that like when we saw Casey attack with the land.
Did he draw a land, or did he draw Xenagos? There's another creativity. I don't see an untapped land. I see the Valakut.
Oh, okay.
Oh, he drew the Xenagos too. No. Like I said. Oh man, I summoned it to him.
You did. That was all you. He's gonna watch this back.
No.
He's gonna.
Oh no. I mean, I think he's gonna creativity this guy, which is not the place you want to be. But like, you gotta like hope it hits an elf, I guess. Like, he doesn't have a Nick that. Oh, he's gonna double shock it, double bolt it. Doesn't he has to use a Valakut Awakening now, right? To put back his Xenagos, which I like. Yeah. That's what I was saying. I was like, well, we put it on the bottom nice and safe, but we shuffled the worm back in.
Yep.
We did shuffle the worm back in.
Almost poetic, the things that we're talking about and bringing up, and then how they're coming up in the game.
The only thing that's going to be better is whenever I'm going to summon it to him, he's going to put this Xenagos back in and then draw the worm off the trigger.
Yeah.
This juggle. Oh no, we got the statue. Yeah, I'm feeling real good for Casey now. Again, just Kyle. If that Xenagos is untapped land, the game's over, right? But it is not. This card's gonna be really hard to get through. I mean, he can also Valakut Awakening into a spell pier. No, he's got the 2 for the pierce. So yeah, he doesn't really have anything here, right?
Yeah.
But he definitely does now, just because he
double spell pierce with the treasure.
Well, it's a Karn, so that
you're right. You're right.
Is there merit to main phasing this Valakut Awakening on your turn so that way you can get a land drop?
I had thought that additionally when you had talked about playing it as a land, if like we really had a combo piece that we wanted to put to the bottom or something, because it kind of splits the difference both ways of like looking for lands.
Because like there's spires, right? There's like a lot of lands that'll still be tap lands that I mean, because now we're behind on mana, and he does have he has 2 lands in play too, so 2 lands in hand off the Valakut. So if he was able to have one of those in play, then he goes to the next turn, then he can like creativity for 1 and hit a worm, right?
Because Xenagos is in hand.
Yeah. So maybe that's a line to win this game where like my opponent doesn't have a Nykthos yet. It doesn't really have a storm, right? But like
not on the hand anymore. On the hand anymore. On the bottom.
Yeah. Because like if you can build up to 6 mana, you just put a worm into play. That's probably not great against my opponent has Karn, bunch of mana now, Kior going, right? Like I would be surprised if Kyle gets another turn after Casey untaps here. Like with that storm, with all this stuff, hasn't seen a Nykthos yet, right? Like just a Nykthos is enough to flashback the storm anyway, right? Because he got double with Full Haven. So that's 6.
Yeah.
Still have Kiora. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6.
I think we have a question for a judge. I think that's what's going on here.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Wonder what it could be.
Right. Lands, creativity.
Impulses.
Uh-huh.
Oh, you might be asking, can I creativity for just red, 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 pay extra from the thing, like the Thalia trick,
Okay.
right? But that doesn't count as X. That's an
Right.
addition.
Right.
That might be what he's asking here.
Yeah. Because with Thalia, it's specifically how it interacts with engineered explosives and the sunburst mechanic.
Exactly. It's not about how much mana was paid for this more than red, red, red.
Right.
Yeah. So I think that might be what he's asking. I don't know what else it could be. It's very tense turn. I don't know what he can, I don't know what the creativity I can do to get out of this, right?
Mm-hmm. And I think Kyle.
Do you just do a lot of hoping? You like play a land, go play a land, creativity for the worm, have the board stalled. One of the fun things that I have seen is if there's not a card in play, you can use the treasures to cast the Xenagos.
Right.
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 But even like if we get a worm, he's not dead. Right?
Creativity for worm costs 6 total, right?
Yeah, 6 total.
Okay. So we need 2 more turns? Or this
Well,
turn?
we have a land to play this turn.
Yeah.
We take 5. But also has a lair, right? So like fail mode.
True.
So 3, 4, 5, 6, 9. The lair's in 8, right? So we have lethal, even just without casting our spell.
Yep.
That I really want to cast, right? Like I just want to spin the wheel and see if it could be even better though.
Than winning the game? Better than winning?
I mean, this is from a person who earlier in this game had his lair blown up, right? What are the odds? Could he have more removals? He kind of does, right? Like he has a bunch of. Yeah. Oh, no, I guess he got rid of all of them. He got rid of them all with the Valkyrie.
Yeah, and the lair's also going to be bigger than 3 toughness, so it doesn't die to the red removal.
You don't know how many bolts he could have. He could have 4
That's
bolts.
true. That's true. They do cost you more though, so I think he's only allowed to get 1.
So on the festival, we're going for the sweet line. I like it. You like activating the Kiora here pre-storm? Because like if you hit another Kiora versus if you hit a Nykthos, it gets bigger, right? It's like the safe play is to activate first. I think that's fine.
Yeah, I think
we have to hit a Nykthos, right?
Right.
Didn't hit a Nykthos. Yeah. Vivian? Is that a Vivian?
That's a Nissa.
Or, I'm sorry,
it's definitely Nissa. It's the one that makes lands 5/5s.
Oh my gosh.
I don't even. Who shakes the world? So 3/3s. My bad. That art.
That definitely looks like the 5/5 art.
Yeah. Thank you. I thought so.
Maybe it's like a promo one. That card's dope. It's really powerful.
I
will say we have a lot of non-forests in play. Okay. We're getting some flashback in here, right?
Yeah.
Why are we not tapping our forests? Why do we want to tap the lair? I don't think there's a lot of logic for that, right? I feel like I just tapped my Temple Garden.
Yeah, I don't think so, unless Casey is just at the point where he's like, I'm not activating this lair ever. I'm just casting spells.
I've been burned before, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so then.
And combat also already happened, so.
Yeah, that's fair. So millions of mana. How much mana we got right now? I see some dice over there. Multiple dice worth of mana.
I believe 12 was made off the Nykthos activation.
The first or the second? Because he did it first, then played another Cure. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Perfect. Dan, I think, is asked to put the dice into play. So we don't have to count. 15. Oh yeah, we have. We just have it, right? Because we have second Cure in the graveyard, so we can get our what's it called off the
Pestilent Cauldron.
The cauldron off the first one, and then
we just have Chain Veil so that we can continue to activate.
Is he doing the Chain Veil stuff? I don't think he is.
I just saw him
Oh
pick it
yeah,
up
yeah,
out
yeah.
of the
Sorry,
sideboard,
the
yeah.
chain bow. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And Kyle scoops it up because he knows what that means.
It's so wild that I mean Kyle has just like one card he can't draw and he draws it, right? I mean that game goes from I thought Kyle was incredibly behind in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow was able to interact very well with his opponent's mana development, and then just couldn't capitalize on it. Right, just couldn't get to a turn. Got some treasures, got some stuff going.
Yep.
And got stuck with I need to put cards back in my deck. Not even like he had the pieces. It just had too many pieces.
Right.
So,
Right. Missed a couple land drops too.
Yeah.
And yeah.
It's interesting that like if he would have played the Valakut Awakening like I thought he should have, then he draws his Xenagos, he's just screwed, right? Because he doesn't have a way to put it back.
True. I think eventually he finds a Fire Prophecy or even already had one in his hand, but I'm not positive. I
think he might have already used one or two by that point. He's only got 3 in the deck.
Okay.
Does have more Valakut Awakenings. You also don't need the Xenagos, right? I just think against the mono green deck, the Xenagoses are just like the Xenagos piece is why I like it. Like putting this is one of the like I was playing around with this deck just to try some different versions, try them that doesn't play the worm at all, that plays Hullbreakers in the main, that tries different stuff. And matchups like this one that you will play against a lot, Xenagos is very important, right? You just kill them.
Yeah,
right? That's so necessary. But I do like the other builds that they can lean away from the 4 mana spells and you just play like 4 Prismari commands, 4 Shark Typhoons, and just like every single turn 3, either you play a Fable or Shark Typhoon or Prismari command, you get a treasure, and then hopefully on turn 4 you have your creativity, you just go here's a worm, and it's just an entire turn faster, right? So that way, rather than wait for 30 on turn 5, you do 15 on turn 5, and then have all your mana up, right? So I think it's better against like red black doing that, but I don't think it's as good against mono green here.
Right. Yeah, and there are a lot of other fast decks in the format like Mono Way, like Ban, where you when your spell resolves, you want that game to just be
well
over.
It's interesting. I think the other way around. Then I think if I'm playing against mono way, like I want to put a worm into play, right? I want the consistent,
because then you just have 5 blockers or 3 blockers that are 5/5s. Is that not how that card works?
No, it just puts the 15/15 into play.
Okay.
Right?
It doesn't like sack it or anything.
No, you just have it. You get to keep it the unfair way.
That's right. Okay. But then you just like lose a Brutal Cathar. And like
you have a bunch of bolts in your deck.
Okay.
I don't think it's great. I mean, I also but that's what I'm saying. Like, would you rather say, okay, I'll interact on turns 1, 2, and 3. Turn 4, I'll do nothing, and turn 5 kill you. Maybe,
okay.
If I get to untap for my turn 5. Right?
I see.
Whereas this is on turn 3, I get to play an interactive spell potentially with Prismari command or something like that, and then turn 4 have a blocker. There's never an off turn, right? You're never behind, right? So I don't think it's necessarily strictly better, right? I also think that there's a lot of awkwardness that Spine Worm, while seemingly very good at attacking, is actually not that great at blocking. Like doesn't have reach, doesn't have like it doesn't just kill him when you kill him on the swing back, right? Like I tried playing around with some versions that had like Hullbreaker Horror in the main, like I said, that you can untap with that and probably win the game. Then you're actually vulnerable to some removal. I think we see Casey going to 6 here. Kyle's happy with his 7. I think, again, being on the play is, I mean, not only important in this matchup, just important in Pioneer.
Oh yeah. I've been feeling that so much recently in all my Magic. Like I mainly play Modern and Pioneer, and just like things like Ragavan on 1, Ren and 6 on the play on 2, playing a 3-drop off of a Mana Dork, and anything like this. I've absolutely been feeling that.
So interesting conversation I was having with some gamers last night. So how do you feel about the London Mulligan?
Okay.
Making that more of a thing, that being on the play is more important, that you are enacting your game plan more consistently, so that you can go to 5 cards as long as you have the right game plan. Right. Whereas a lot of other times when you get a scry, you get nothing. I don't know. I'm keeping 6 with 4 lands in my aggro deck because I just can't go to 5. I just can never win a game on 5. Right?
No, I absolutely feel this. Like I this is not something that has been articulated to me like explicitly like that, but I mean, I was just stomping people with my Hollowed Fountain, Otawara, Mausoleum Wanderer, Supreme Phantom Spellcaller hands. Like, and that's
like you just get to you get to do the thing so much more consistently with the London Mulligan that in the previous Mulligan iterations you couldn't, right? And that's where like it felt so many non-games when you get a 6, let alone 5, right? Which is why like if you're on multi 5 on the play, like that's fine in some of these aggressive strategies, right?
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I think that matters a lot. Well, we bolted our elf. That's such a good start for Kyle here. We got an uninteractable one. This carried. Only the one carried showed up in all these games.
I saw Casey holding it up a little bit. No spell snare in this format yet.
Yeah.
None of that.
Spell snare could be cool for this format.
I absolutely agree. I like spell snare, and there was another card I was thinking of recently that I really want in Pioneer.
You're not like one of the like logic nodders. Or you like that life?
No.
Yeah.
No.
I don't think we need more good 2-mana counters. Like I don't think that. Oh man, if we have an anger.
Oh, I'm definitely in on Mana Leak. I would love to see Mana Leak in Pioneer.
I just like that immensely.
Yeah.
I think I've seen, what was it? The Aspiring Expect was talking about things like lose focus. He really likes where it has replicate. I think that's better than Mana Leak. I don't need Magic to have better 2-mana counters when we already have Geistlight Snare that is like nuts in these Spirit decks. 1 mana Leak is like nuts. I don't want to give them a second Mana Leak.
I just want like 2-color blue decks to be able to like. I just think that I personally would never touch something like the pile that Kyle's on.
Sure,
but if it had Mana Leak in it,
I think you could do something like a blue-green Mana Leak, right?
Okay.
Rather like go into a multicolor that's not an archetype that is well supported. Like can't be blue-red. Can't be blue-red at all, right? That archetype's really well supported.
I'd agree.
I see a Disdainful Stroke in Kyle's hand, hoping to nab whatever big play we got right here. Don't you activate that layer. It's gonna get shot.
Hopefully he's learned.
Oh, we got a troll sneaking into the stroke. I like it. It doesn't really have a lot for this. We got a reader. The one thing I will say to talk to our counterspell conversation, I think Make Disappear, the 1 blue counter unless they pay 2, and then it has Casualty 1 from Streets of New Capenna. Okay.
I think that card's a little bit underplayed in the format, and that like just like something like a Young Pyromancer strategy or something could use that card well. I saw it in TSP Jendrick's list. I know probably pronouncing his name incorrectly, but he played in like the Legacy event, and yeah.
Well, I think we're gonna see a Sokenzan pitch here and have creativity for it as long as we draw an untapped land. So I saw Kyle looking at this the shiny red land in his hand, and I think that's a Sokenzan.
I think you're right, and that's a pretty cool way to use a part of your mana base as
That's actually why I like this blue red deck, because like I said, like there's so much of the mana base that gets to be used on these things. I think like I've seen it versions that run like Field of Ruin. I think that's a bit too slow. Yeah, here's our Sokenzan. Plays around the counter, but has stuff to do. I don't know if he's playing or not. I just don't think he has any big spells to cast right now. But,
yeah.
So if we had untapped land, the game's over. I think he's got a creativity in hand.
Connect for.
Oh, it's a shock land. We're slamming it. What's our opponent got? Nothing, right? There's nothing that I can imagine that. Oh, Besage still, right?
Okay.
Besage is the same thing. Our opponent's been flooding. There's a world.
And then there's still, Besage doesn't actually work here because those are 1/1 spirits, right?
Oh yeah, it's not even the treasures.
Yeah,
I love it. Yeah, this game is donezo. We need to look at his cool deck, see if we've decided on some sideboarding decisions. Though we got the one. It's always scary midway, halfway through your deck picking up. Did I draw those enemies? Where is it? Is it on the bottom? Oh, we got that perfect angle for the glare, so we can't even see the sweetness.
I appreciated Al had set up already last night the anti-glare sheet, but it's not perfect. So
I don't think that they held their entire deck up and fanned it at a right angle.
I don't think they did. No.
Perfect. Oh, you see Kyle take it down. That's impressive. I think. Do you like the creativity deck in this matchup in general?
I think seeing how it played out there, I would, as long as As long as I'm hitting my land drops and getting to do my thing on turn 5.
Turn 1, 2, 3 interact, take turn 4 off, kill you on turn 5.
Mhm.
That's the plan here, right?
Yep.
Hopefully bolt a guy, be able to spell pierce or disdainful stroke something a little bit later. Yeah, I like that. And I think only does that feel like a good matchup if you have Xenagos in your deck, right? I think that when you have to accumulate it and you kill him on turn like 6 or something like that, that's just too much time. Like every time the mono green deck gets to untap with anything in play, I feel like the game can just easily be recovered from.